The other thing is, the contract rate is a real thing, and, no, we don't have to be under a contract to get the contract rate on a dinar. There is a contract rate. I'm not supposed to say what it is, so I won't, but I can tell you, it's way better than the front rates and the bank screen rate. It's way higher, and it's because President Trump wants to get the best we can possibly get on the dinar. And that's what the 800 numbers will give you access to through the call centers, and we'll end up getting transferred directly to that redemption center that corresponds closest to the zip code that we enter when we're calling the call center through the number. We're not going to be using banks. Some of the redemption centers are next to banks, connected to banks. Some are wealth management offices. Some are completely different. It has designed this way so that those who use the redemption centers would get the best rates, especially on dinar and quite possibly also on dong and some of the other currencies. There has been a comment that was put out, that said that Bruce doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to contracts or redemption centers. Well, let me tell you why I know what I know. We have the leaders that we talk to personally at 5 different redemption centers, so we're getting the straight scoop from redemption center leaders, and it's tightened up because they're under brand new NDAS. When I tell you that there are over 6,000 redemption centers in the United States, you can take it as fact they're very real, and they're happening, and that's what we're going to be using. Just because you see all the evidence that the monetary reform is already here, it doesn't mean that it has to be given to them right now. If you have 95% of the skeleton, that's a lot of information. You can tell if it's a man or a woman, how high they're going to be. You can tell a lot. That's why you can tell a lot about the monetary reform right now, because it's 95% completed. What's the 5%? That's what they're doing right now. There's a flash drive that was sent out for 5 institutions, 3 banks and 2 redemption centers in one case, and those were installed on laptops, and they're using laptops in the redemption centers and the bank. It's a release activation mechanism. Like a release activation code key, they are designed to receive a signal in some form of protocol, let's call it timeline activated, through the Starlink satellite system, so it would be wirelessly activated through Starlink to activate with the codes that are installed to begin what it is we're waiting for. 2 resources, last night, 2 more today, are saying that we will start this weekend. Informed sources rule out submitting final accounts of the 2024 budget to Parliament. This is one of those confusing articles I was talking about. They have already done 3 readings on the 2024 budget and we are waiting for it to be in the Gazette, or they could publish a special Gazette, which is something they sometimes do. We hope the HCL will be in tomorrow's Gazette. But mixed reports coming out of Iraq. Some say it passed, some say it hasn't. Turkey seeks to increase trade volume with Iraq to $30 billion annually. I have a lady friend who is a trauma surgeon in Iraq that is employed by the WHO and works as an adjunct with the military. I just spoke with her and she told me there are no lower denomination notes being used. I asked her to ask around the hospital about lower denomination notes. She emailed me back and said she spoke with the admin, and they said there are no lower denomination notes. Hydrocarbon law, I've been talking about this forever. What does the hydrocarbon law have to do with the exchange rate? Other gurus are not being very specific. They don't tell you how it's connected at all. Does the Iraqi hydrocarbon law pay money directly to the Iraqi citizens? The money goes into different funds, designed to ensure each Iraq citizens residing in the country receives an equal share of Iraqi revenues. Iraqi citizens do not receive direct payments from the Iraqi hydrocarbon law. Instead, they may benefit indirectly through various funds. They're not directly going to get paid. Deputy Chairman of the Parliamentary Planning Committee, MP Mohammed al-Baldawi, confirmed on Saturday that Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani asked the House of Representatives to proceed with amending the paragraph related to the region. Al-Baldawi said in a statement to Al-Maluma agency, the session hosting the Prime Minister addressed the amendments to the 2025 budget, as al-Sudani asked Parliament to amend Article 12C of the triennial budget law that Parliament voted on last year. He added, the article is related to the region and is summarized in forming specialized committees for the purpose of calculating the oil exported from the region, and deducting it from its share designated in the next budget. He pointed out that the parliamentary committee will discuss the possibility of reconsidering the calculation of the price of a barrel of oil and the exchange rate of the dollar in the next budget. The House of Representatives hosted Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani at his request, where many files were discussed, most notably the developments in Syria and amending the budget law for next year, in addition to other political topics. Political observer Sabak al-Akili considered, on Saturday, the visit of the head of the Progress Party, Mohammed al-Halbasi, at this time, as raising many question marks and he must be questioned, indicating that al-Halbasi seeks to be present in the political process after Parliament excluded him. Al-Akili said in a statement to Al-Maluma agency, al-Halbasi's visit to Washington in these circumstances that the region is going through has many suspicions, indicating that some leaks indicate that al-Halbasi went under the title of the leader of the Sunni House and may propose a deal with the American side to create a Sunni region in exchange for normalization with the Zionist entity if that happens. He added that it is not unlikely that there will be a discussion about starting to establish camps for Palestinians in the western regions after the Palestinians are displaced from Gaza, and the West Bank after their lands are confiscated and the Palestinian presence in Gaza is liquidated, noting that during this visit, Halbasi presented himself as a political tool for external parties and is seeking to have a presence in the political process by the American side after the Iraqi parliament excluded him and he must be held accountable. It is noteworthy that the head of the Progress Party visited Washington where he met with American officials, including a member of the Foreign Relations Committee, the chairman of the Security and Defense Committee, and the chairman of the Intelligence Committee in the U.S. Congress. Economic researcher Daya Abdul Karim said on Friday that the Iraqi parallel market sells dollars to citizens at a price not subject to state control, noting that the absence of control will create a crisis with any tension that the country may experience. Abdul Karim told Al-Maluma, there is silence from the government regarding the parallel market and the price at which the dollar is sold to citizens, and this silence will create a real crisis within the market if the country goes through any emergency circumstances or tensions that may occur in the coming days. He added, most of those heading to the parallel market are seeking to obtain dollars for urgent travel purposes, to buy medicine from abroad urgently, or to buy cars from approved showrooms.